welcome. So I'm here with Bruno Roche from ABB today here at the World Hydrogen Congress in Rotterdam in our media center. Bruno, it's a pleasure to have you here, and I'm looking forward to our talk.
Thank you very much for inviting me, Thomas. And it has been a pleasure those last days. Very, very occupied. So looking forward to the conversation.
Before we start talking about ABB's take on hydrogen, I would like to know what's your personal journey at ABB, but also to the topic of hydrogen.
Oh, that's a good question. So I'm more than 13 years in ABB. We have been focusing a lot lately, myself and my team, on the oil and gas industry in power and water. But interestingly, it's customers who came to us about 4 years ago, where they ask, being utility companies or being oil, gas and chemicals companies, to engage the discussion on hydrogen, which is a topic that today we really are speaking on every single meeting. But if I take this journey, interestingly, I'm at that time local division manager, so heading a team for, I will say, more traditional industry. And when we saw what was coming, we decided to invest time and effort with customers and for customers. So we were cutting from first kilowatt of project, and after it becomes a megawatt, now we are in the gigawatt. But I took lately, end of last year, a global role, taking care of hydrogen globally in ABB. So that's my role today, making sure that all the divisions will coordinate and collaborate for the best of our customers and offering. So that's the journey in itself that I started with customers, and I'm continuing with customers and partners.
Perfect. So then talking about ABB, so I'm as an electrical engineer, I grew up, I would say, with ABB solutions around power electronics and automation solution, especially in the electrical industry, electricity supply. So what's your take now and your development towards the hydrogen industry at ABB?
Okay, so thank you, first of all, for the good words about ABB, and you are right. We really are focusing on electrification, also automation, and what we call digital, which is a name that all the industry is using, but it's very relevant for the hydrogen market. So I explained shortly, we were speaking during this conference a lot about electrolysis, so you see this clean or green hydrogen. And when you look at it, especially in the context, we are not looking at the core electrolyzer manufacturing or the fuel cell. However, our relevance is significant when you look at it from the power side. So to power an electrolyzer, to break this water molecule, you need electrons. And these electrons now represent most of the cost. So not only on the CapEx side, where we can represent around 20% of the CapEx when we take the whole portfolio of ABB on electrification, but we are even more significant when it comes to the operations. Because when you operate, this energy management will be critical to lower down the cost of production of hydrogen. And interestingly, by engaging early with what ABB has as an expertise to define plans, that will enable customers ultimately to make the operations most optimum and reduce the cost of the production. And as we speak about hydrogen, the relevance we have, it's with the innovation that we do. So we have developed specifically power electronics for hydrogen, thinking that we are in a journey with customers, with plans that will scale up very, very quickly. And the idea is to go after several rounds of learning in this industry, scaling up, standardizing for what will become in some years a mature market. But for now, we are really at the phase where we are developing very fast, and all power electronics or automation system and this digital offering make the difference for the customers, not only when they think about their project, but certainly also when they will operate.
Okay, thank you very much. Yeah, I mean, automation solution is basically electricity is a large part of each green hydrogen production. Taking into account what you said, I mean, how did you experience the development of customer requests, especially when it comes to hydrogen projects and realizing hydrogen projects? Because I mean, a lot of project starts with the first idea, starting about bankability discussions, pre-engineering, but then ABB is already a large part of components and digitalization solutions where we need to reach FID. So you need to have the plans. So how did you experience customer requested projects develop in this direction during the last 2 years, for example?
So very interesting question because this is disrupting.
Yeah.
We come to an industry where it's very mature, where we have very detailed engineering works that normally are flowing to us, where we are happy to deliver an offer or full offering. But when it comes to this hydrogen topic, I mean, the questions are much more broad. How to make a project bankable, what type of decision to take. That includes also the core components that we have in ABB. We have some critical equipment like what we call rectifier to convert this alternating current to direct current that will be needed for electrolyzer. And as a core competence on these systems, we need to be involved early. So the disruption comes when customers realize that we have to be engaged much earlier than before. And interestingly, we had, after some years, some partners we were seeing more and more. And I can take the example of Worley, where together with customers, we have been asked several times the same question, and we started to work together to standardize what is becoming the similar request, whatever the application and whatever the electrolyzer technology as an example. So being agnostic to that, the idea is to help this OEM to really concentrate on what they focus on. We want them to develop as good technology as they can, and we want to take the hassle out of all this electrification and automation portion. So I think the big change that arrived in this industry is the disruption of the need to be involved early to make a difference. And this is a bit of a learning with our traditional customers. And this is really automatically coming from developers who will need us, an industrial partner, in order to have the credibility of their projects. But I think the beauty of this market is that we need all types of customers. The large industrial players and also developers that will help to go a bit faster in developing what we need to scale at this pace that is incredible, but at the same time closely collaborating with developers that will, together with large companies, make the difference. So this is also with Worley when we decided to engage even with IBM, thinking a step even further about how to integrate their asset into the complete IT system and all the ERP, thinking about the demand and the energy sources. So the idea was really to team up with some, without exclusivity, but very close relationship with partners, but again to serve customer. And ultimately, our most important partner is the customer, being the end user, the operator, or the EPC that will also put the plant up and running.
Yeah, I mean, this is something we saw here as well when talking about project realization. I mean, the classical waterfall approach to implement a project is not working if you really want to go fast. So you also need there an agile approach, including more and more partners in an early phase of the project. But this is a really great idea. And I had an interview with Hans-Dieter Hermes from Worley yesterday, and he also mentioned this cooperation with you, IBM, and Worley. Could you perhaps also focus a bit more on what exactly you're doing there and what's the benefit, especially for the customers then at the end?
Yeah, thank you for the question. Again, the idea here is, as I said, to standardize as much as we can, but standardizing on a market that is not mature yet is quite complex. So what we have seen coming very early is to use this digitalization I was speaking earlier. But here it's really to make a kind what you will call a digital twin that will be here not only to prepare the build of the asset, this is really the competencies of Worley in this case, but also to operate the asset, where we step in as ABB with a lot of expertise and knowledge in the market. So about simulating the operations very early on, thanks to this digital twin that we have. And when we turn to IBM, also thinking how to integrate it. You were speaking about bankability of project that also needs a full ERP system, working all together into the IT infrastructure. So arriving very early with a solution that will enable this ramp up, thanks to this digital twin that will become standardized solution to be applied, is really was a demand, and we came up with a solution that we think is quite advanced in the market at the moment, and we receive very good feedback from first customers.
Perfect. Yeah, I'm looking forward to see more of it. And so thank you very much, Bruno, for this interesting insights. Enjoy the rest of the day now.
Thank you very much, and looking forward to seeing you next year, because if it is ramping up as fast as this year, I don't know how many people will be there, but very good quality of attendance, and thank you for the organizer for a very nice event.